Hello animal lovers, and welcome to our latest episode of Animal Magnetism, the show from Multnomah County Animal Services where good times and good information come together. We've got a cat-tastic show for you tonight, filled with doggone good stories. We hope you woof it. Too far? Sorry. Anyway, tonight we'll check in with Ruff Barker and Kitty Latour, our always informative evening news hosts. They'll share a harrowing tale of a hitchhiking kitty and also give us the lowdown on the recent statistics from the Animal Sheltering Alliance of Portland. And as always, we'll have our much-adored Pet Connection game show, in which a lovable shelter dog tries to find her perfect human match. And let me tell you, tonight's contestant, Holly the dachshund, is one adorable pup. Make sure to stay tuned until the end, because you're going to find out all about the shelter's foster care program during our interview with foster parent Bob Garrison. What does it take to become a foster parent? What kind of animals need foster care? Stay tuned and find out. We've got all of this and more on tonight's episode of Animal Magnetism.
Still coming to you from Multnomah County, the pet capital of the world, it's the show you love to love. It's Pet Connection. And here's our gracious hostess, Jean Fleming.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much. What a lovely welcome. Thank you for being here with us. You're a great audience. And you know, thanks to you, our viewers, Pet Connection is now the #1 show, being produced by Multnomah County Animal Services right here in East Multnomah County. What do you think of that? Okay, folks, give yourselves a hand. All right, let's get going with the fun. Here's how it works. One of the kennel kids currently residing at the shelter will ask questions of 3 potential adopters. How those questions are answered will help our pet make a choice. So let's get started. Are you ready to meet the potential adopters? Okay, folks, well, here they are. I think you're going to recognize our first hopeful. He's the sensational, young, heart-throbbing recording artist with all the dance moves, a mediocre voice, and a chart-topping ego. Give it up now for Justin Fever.
I love you guys. I love you all. Just buy tickets to my next concert. It's going to be quite a bit of money, but yeah.
Okay.
Buy tickets. Buy tickets.
Thank you, Justin. Our next hopeful adopter is a very special lady, well known in her community as an eccentric. She and her 47 cats live in a spacious home, and I do mean spacious. But you know, she and her cats are still being tolerated by her neighbors as long as the cats stay indoors. Say hello to Mrs. Kitty Herder. Hello, Mrs. Herder, and welcome. Thank you. Okay, our third hopeful is Norma Normal. Norma is a no-nonsense neonatal nurse married to Norman. She and Norman live in a nice neighborhood near a nature reserve. The Normal family includes 2 children, Nancy and Rocco. Welcome, Nancy. Good to have you here. Well, okay, is everyone ready to meet our pet? Hey, me too. As always, to keep our pet in the dark about the hopeful adopters, we've been keeping her isolated backstage in a soundproof kennel. This week's lucky pet is a sweet and gentle-natured dachshund. She's no teenager, but this mature lady is energetic. She loves walking in the fresh air every day, partly so she can show off the cute little skip in her step. This lady may be petite, but she's grade A prime. Here she is, our lucky pet of the week, Holly. Come on out, Holly. Oh, hello. Welcome, Holly. Good. Great. Hi, Holly. Oh, well, Holly, welcome. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, thank you, Jean. You're right. I'm not a kid anymore, but I have learned by the experience of my years. My only serious hang-up is that I've never learned to like children under 10.
Well, I understand. Thank you for your honesty, Holly. It's lovely to have you here. If you're ready, let's go. What's your first question?
Okay, number 1. Why do you want to adopt a small girl like me?
Well, actually, I thought I was going to win a Chihuahua on the show because Chihuahuas are actually pretty good in Paris, but Dachshund, that's even better. Chihuahuas are yesterday's Paris. Actually, I think I'm going to start a new trend. You go on tour with me, make stage appearances. Hey, can you dance? I think I'm going to make you famous. Actually, you're going to rail in the babes, like, super.
Wow, that sounds oddly interesting. What about you, number 2?
Well, since I'm not allowed to adopt any more cats, I decided to look for something cat-like. You're the right size, so you'll fit right in.
Cats, cat-like. I'll get back to you. What about you, number 3? Why do you want a small doxy like me?
Well, when I was a girl, I was given a gift. Almost all young girls were given. You know, they're called the autograph hund. Mine was shaped like a dachshund, and I begged my parents for a real one. I've always had one ever since.
This is a 2-part question. I love to eat and sleep. Number 1, what would you feed me and where would I sleep?
Well, I'm on the road 9 months a year, and I usually eat whatever's handed to me. I'll just scarf it down. I don't really even care. My bed and the brother sleeps 3, so I guess I'll make room for you too.
Number 2?
Oh, my cats eat only the finest, top-of-the-line, expensive cat food. Now, I've had a talk with them, and they've promised to take turns sharing their food and letting you sleep in their beds. Isn't that sweet and unselfish?
Number 3?
Well, I've talked to the family, and we've chosen a really special place for you that's just for you, with a nice heated bed. And I can tell kind of by your voice that maybe you have a little bit of a problem with your esophagus collapsing from time to time. And because of that, and I'm guessing your age, I think I'll have a specially formulated food just for you to make sure you live a long, healthy life.
Well, that's it. Time's up, Holly. Are you ready to turn one of our hopeful adopters into a happy adopter? Gotta make your choice. Who's it gonna be, Holly?
Well, it sounds like number 1 has an exciting life, and it'd be neat to be famous, but bus travel makes me seasick. And number 2, I love the idea of having my own cats to chase, but I require a better diet and a bed of my own. That leaves you, number 3. I'm packed and ready to go home.
All right, Holly. Well, that means you're going home with Norma. Normal, you may want to change your name to Nully. All right, let's go meet your new mom. Here's Norma, and here's Holly. Wow, oh, look at that. Love at first sight. Well, there you go, another wonderful pet connection. What do you say, Norma? Let's blow everybody a kiss. Mwah! Okay, great. Thank you so much for being here for Pet Connection. We'll see you next time.
Welcome to MCAS Evening News. I'm Kitty Latour.
And I'm Ruff Barker.
Our top story tonight involves a cat, a boat, and a long drive home.
A resident of Sioux Falls, South Dakota, was vacationing at Timothy Lake near Mount Hood when he found a cat. He brought the cat to Multnomah County Animal Services and turned it in. Luckily, the cat had a microchip. MCAS was able to contact the owner, who lives in Donald, Oregon, and she immediately drove to Troutdale to claim her cat.
As it turns out, Bailey the cat was an indoor kitty who'd never been outside. Once out, she hid in a neighbor's boat and inadvertently hitched a ride to the lake. Thanks to the microchip and the Good Samaritan, Bailey and her owners were quickly and easily reunited.
Saved by a microchip. Kitty, do you know much about how that works?
I had the same question. So I went to Multnomah County Animal Services and talked to Lauren Benkaz. Let's watch what she had to say about microchipping.
Hi, we're here with our kitty model, Macy, and we're going to talk to you about microchipping today. So here at Multnomah County Animal Services, we microchip every dog, cat, and rabbit that gets adopted. So the process is pretty simple. We first scan Macy to see if she currently has a microchip. She does not have a chip, so we're gonna chip her. So then the next step is we got our needle that has the microchip inside. It's about the size of a grain of rice. It's kind of like when people get their ears pierced. It's a nice hollow needle, and it takes just a minute. So, okay. And, oh, you ready, Melinda? Mm-hmm. And it goes right under her skin. There we go.
It's okay.
And now Macy is microchipped. So it's always really important to make sure your microchip information is up to date. If the information's not up to date, then we can't reunite Macy back with her new people. So anytime you move, make sure to update the phone number and the address on the chip.
Very interesting. Thanks for putting that together, Kitty. Before we move on to our next story, let's check in with Captain the Weather Cat. Captain, what's the weather like?
The weather outside it's spooky. Right now there's wind over in this area, and it's gonna rain over here. So if you need me, I'll be under the couch.
Oh, Captain, what a gal.
The next story shows how community shelters and animal welfare groups are working together to improve the lives of pets in the Portland metro area. The Animal Shelter Alliance of Portland, or ASAP, celebrates its 6th year this year. Multnomah County Animal Services is proud to be one of the founding members of ASAP. Other members include Southwest Washington Humane Society, Clackamas Dog Control, Bonnie Hayes Animal Shelter, Cat Adoption Team, Portland Vet Medical Association, Southwest Washington Vet Medical Association, Oregon Humane Society, and Feral Cat Coalition, Oregon. A core ASAP goal to end the euthanasia of healthy, social, and treatable companion animals and feral cats in the greater Portland metro area, ASAP reports that every year the numbers get better and better. Since its inception, ASAP has reduced the overall rate of euthanasia in the Portland metro community by 55%.
According to the individual shelter reports, they have increased their live release rate by just under 79%. For the past 2 years, not a single healthy cat or dog has been euthanized by Alliance members.
The Alliance has achieved this improvement by focusing on spay and neuter services and by working together to support the animals across each organization in the Alliance.
Every year, Multnomah County Animal Services reviews its numbers and develops strategies for improvement in the coming year. Always striving to do more for the community and the animals in the community, ASAP members like Multnomah County Animal Services work tirelessly to continue to drive down the rate of euthanasia in our community.
To learn more about the Animal Shelter Alliance of Portland, low-cost spay and neuter options in the community, and animals available for adoption in member shelters, you can visit the website at www.asapmetro.org.
There is so much good work going on. Portlanders sure love their pets.
Portlanders also love sports. What better combo than watching pets do sports? Let's take a look.
Sunny's getting after it. She's getting after it. There she goes. Give her a big hand. Good job, Sunny. Good job. All right. Good job, Ruby. That's 4. Yeah, River doesn't look like that. River's drinking the water.
Samson's going to have Rue's help. Lexi Rue.
Who is it?
Lexi Rue.
Lexi Rue's going to help Samson out. Let's see if they can go. There you go. There you go, Lexi. Looks like Mika's trying to figure out what to make of this meat.
Well, folks, that wraps up this episode of MCAS News. I'm Ruff Barker.
And I'm Kitty Latour. Until next time, stay altered.
Portland.
Hi, I'm Stephanie with Multnomah County Animal Services, and today we're going to work with Howie. Howie is a great example of a young dog that's big, strong, full of energy, enthusiasm, and just needs a little bit of help with some manners training. This can all be accomplished pretty easily without having to touch him, put my hands on him, or otherwise force him to do what I want. Most of the time with a big dog like Howie, the more you push against them, the more they push back against you. Not because they're trying to be in charge, but just because they don't know what you want. So today I want to show you some really simple tips to give Howie the right kind of feedback as to this is what I want to see and how do I reward it and see it so I get it over and over again, or as so I get it over and over again. Howie. So one of the first techniques we start with is a hungry dog. Howie hasn't had breakfast yet. So I'm using hunger as a natural motivator to get Howie to be interested in interacting with me. There's lots of stuff to do in the environment. He's a young dog that gets distracted easily with people in the room, and I'm relatively unfamiliar to him, so I'm exciting and fun at the same time. So how do I get him to interact with me? Food. Food is a great motivator. It's very powerful in that it's portable, and I can change the sort of denomination of the food to suit what I'm doing. So for example, if Howie was my dog at home, I could just use his breakfast kibble. So breakfast kibble at breakfast time is a perfectly high enough value food to get this dog to be interested in me. With lots of other stuff going on in the environment, I want to be able to kind of say, okay, well, if kibble at home is $1 worth of a treat, then how about I give you something like, this is a semi-moist dog food. So this is a $20 treat. So I can use food in lots of different environments depending on what's going on around me and how badly I need to compete with the distractions that are going on in the environment. In Howie's case, he has external distractions, so what's going on around him, but he also has lots of internal distractions. He has his excitement level. He also has a little bit of frustration level. So a lot of that jumping that you're seeing on me is, come on, you have something. Why don't you give it to me? Sometimes the inclination is to want to shove them off, push them off, knee them in the chest, or do other things physically to kind of get the message across that that's not okay and I don't like that. There's the side effect to that is that, again, it's not teaching Howie, well, what do I want to see instead? So if Howie spends a little bit of time jumping up on me and gets nothing from that, and then spends a little bit of time sitting and actually gets something awesome from that, then he's going to learn that jumping up is a waste of time, a waste of energy, and is not very productive. But gosh, I just noticed if I just sit here, this lady starts throwing down kibble, and I like that. So before you ever start doing anything with your dog, you have to understand that they do not have a verbal center of the brain. They don't speak a spoken language. So in trying to communicate with your dog with sit and down and off and what are you doing and you're so bad and trying to talk at them, it's not very effective. It's just more sounds coming out of our mouths. So the way that we start to teach our dogs verbal cues or verbal commands is pairing them with visual signals by luring. So what I might start with Howie is just luring him into a sit. And he has a pretty good basic sit already, so I'm not exactly starting from scratch. So I'm going to lure him where I want him so you guys can see. And then I'm just going to start up and over the head. Yes. Good boy. So the second his butt hits the ground into the sit and what I want, I can mark that behavior in two ways. One is with a clicker.
A clicker is a great way when you have a fast-moving dog who's going to throw lots of stuff your way to be able to capture in that very moment that of all the stuff that he just did, that one is the one I want to see again. But a clicker is sometimes not always feasible because you've got food and treats and dog, and so sometimes it's okay to just use your words. And I like the word yes because you can say it with a smile. So I'm going to use the 1, 2, 3, 4 method by Dr. Ian Dunbar, and that is say it, lure it, mark it, reward it. So I'm just going to say sit, whoops, lure it, yes, reward it. Now, in that moment, there was 2 things that happened. His butt hit the ground, and I marked it, and I rewarded it, but his feet were also on my arm. So there's a really good chance that Howie could say, got it, it's feet on the arm, and sit. So what I want to do is help Howie, because he already has a little Muhammad Ali complex there. Howie, I'm going to go ahead and isolate what exactly is that gets the reward. So in this case, if his feet come up, the food goes away. So let's see if I can frustrate him a little bit. Feet come up, I lure him off of me. I know. Up and to sit, yes. Make him hold it for a second. Howie. Yes. And mark that moment when he's still and the feet are solidly on the ground. It takes a little bit of timing, but really the difference between a dog trainer and a regular Joe pet owner is just timing and the amount of feedback. If I was working one-on-one with Howie and not talking to you guys, I would be giving him 50 pieces of information in a minute. I'd be giving him tons and tons of feedback of everything I wanted to see again without really doing a lot of talking at him. So if you want to keep and hold your dog's attention, it's all about feedback for what you want to see again. So in Howie's case, jumping up is a really fun and ingrained behavior, so I'm just going to make sitting a lot more rewarding. So we're going to do it in lots of different contexts. Good boy. Come over here. Howie. Yes. Yes. I'm going to teach him that sitting is really, really profitable, and if he just hangs out in a sit, yes. All good things come to him. Yes. 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 So the bottom line is with a little bit of planning ahead on your part, meaning having a hungry dog, some available treats and rewards, you can very quickly start to have a dog who is well-behaved, calm, and well-mannered when you and your visitors come over to the house.
Well, hello again, and welcome to a very special interview with Multnomah County Animal Services volunteer Bud Garrison. Thanks for joining us, Bud. So you're here today to chat a bit about the foster care program at the shelter. That's really exciting. What exactly is the foster care program at the shelter?
So our foster care program is a network of volunteers who bring animals into our house to get them out of the shelter and be able to work with the animals a little bit before we find them an adoptive home.
So what is your role at the shelter and then with the foster program?
So I do volunteer out at the shelter in the kennel, working with public and working a little bit with the dogs. But as a foster parent, we, as I mentioned earlier, bring the dogs into our house, get the dog settled, get a good behavior assessment on the dog. We usually try and crate train our dogs, so we make sure that a family that's going to adopt them, if they want to have the animal in a crate, that animal's ready to go. Do some basic training with the dogs before we match them up with the right home to go to.
So what are some of the reasons that animals need to go into foster care?
We get animals into our foster program for a number of different reasons. We have animals that have had surgery or have medical issues that need to come in and they need to get through their medication regimen or get stable medically. Sometimes we have dogs that are very, very underweight and we want to fatten them up and get them into a healthy condition. And then we also have dogs that just don't react well in the shelter environment. So it's hard to get a good read on how they would behave at home when they're in the shelter. So we get them into our houses so we can get a little bit better of analysis on them.
How long do animals generally stay with their foster family?
You know, it can be anywhere from a few days to a couple of months. Most of our animals have stayed with us, a few weeks to a couple of months.
So would you tell us about one of your foster pets?
So probably my favorite foster has been Tessa. She was a 9-year-old Cocker Spaniel. She actually came in with an injury to her ear that required that they take off her ear flap. So she was this one-eared Cocker Spaniel. When she came in, she was very dirty. She was also very, very overweight. So we got her in, got her groomed up, started getting her on a good diet and a lot of walks to take a little bit of weight off of her. And then eventually, after she got settled a little bit, got her adopted out to a very nice lady and her daughter.
Oh gosh, that sounds lovely. Some parts of that. Anyway, I encourage our viewers to look at the foster program at Multnomah County Animal Services. If you're interested in applying as a foster parent, please contact Multnomah County Animal Services at www.multcopets.org. Thank you.
Well, what a ride. I hope you enjoyed tonight's episode and learned a little something in the process. I know we all had a great time and can't wait for the next show. From all of us here at Animal Magnetism, thanks for tuning in and we'll see you soon.